prices work. Talking about Venezuela once again. To make important thanks. They removed the 1,000 on their called monetary awareness.
All right, we're back for another live stream, take two. So hopefully things go smoother. Apologize for the hiccups and issues, but once again, not my typical format. But appreciate those that have been patient with me, just because I think this is very important information that's worth bringing to your attention, because ultimately you won't hear it from any mainstream news source. And as of now, I'm the first one to even really touch on this. But as you guys can see from this visual aid over my shoulder, we have Klaus Schwab in the very middle of all this, and this everything's happening in Ukraine. Underpinnings of it is about the transition towards that Great Reset agenda, and it has to do with what you see in the hands of those two individuals there. One is an app called the Diia application. About to touch on that. And then to the other side of that is the hryvnia, which is a Ukrainian currency that at this current moment is going through those little ups and flows, but I've touched on that throughout the years. But want to be short and concise and give you some articles that paint more of a picture as to what's happening in the long term. And also the biggest thing to take away from this is put yourself in the shoes of a Ukrainian citizen that is experiencing the introduction of a new digitization of their entire governmental structure. So let's dive into that. And also for those that are on the chat, appreciate you for your patience. Let me know where you're watching from via chat, and we will do the best we can to hopefully make things flow smoothly. Yeah, let me know if everything is good on from what you guys can see. Thumbs up if audio is good, video is good. Hopefully the internet remains, but I'm going to be short and concise to get this to you and let you guys do the rest of the homework for yourselves. But let's jump right in. So what I came across was an article. And so this article here is from the government. It's official documentation from the government in Ukraine. And it's quite lengthy, but I'll just thumb through it, save you the headache, because the two primary buzzwords is in the title itself. I'm going to butcher it, of course, but I'll do the best I can. But as the guy says here, this is from December of 19th of 2021, as it says here. It says, today, the project preparedness, correct me if I'm wrong, and the Diia application has officially launched how to get your 1,000 hryvnia, which is the Ukrainian currency. So two key words here I want to highlight, shine more light on, let you guys do your homework. This word here, preparedness, whatever, is important because that is a new digital representation of the hryvnia currency that is being used right now. And it has all the programmable features in it of a CBDC with a time expiration date, the places you can use it, and the like. And then the Diia application here is another keyword because that is an actual app that was rolled out well before the lockdowns. So this was a part of the plan well before we were introduced to the health situation that's used as a cover up for the world. But those two words are key. So I'm going to dive further into those words and let you guys know where this is heading. So what exactly is the Diia application? So when you type in Diia into Wikipedia, it tells you just basically what it is. And I'll read it briefly and then add more to it. It says Diia, which means action in Ukrainian. It says is a mobile app, a web portal, and a brand of e-governance in Ukraine. E-governance, new terminology. Expect to hear more of that in the West. It says launched in 2020, to be more specific, in February of 2020. The Diia app allows Ukrainian citizens to use digital documents in their smartphones instead of physical ones for identification and sharing purposes. The Diia portal allows access to over 50 governmental services, 50 governmental services. So basically the entire infrastructure of the Ukrainian government has now been digitized and rolled into an app where all citizens will have to interact with that app in order to engage their government. Pay attention to that. Next one here says, eventually the government plans to make all kinds of state person interactions available through the Diia. Okay, so I'll go back here. It says Diia was first presented September 27, 2019 by the Ministry of Digital Transformation. They created an entire new branch of government, the Ministry of Digital Transformation. I expect to hear more of that here in the West. But okay, so now we have it. We have the Diia application, which is 50 governmental services rolled into one, and a lot more coming. And we have the preparedness, whatever. We'll work with that. But let's keep it moving right along. Let me know in the chat also if you guys can hear me Make sure everything is running smoothly. But for those tuning in, hit the thumbs up button. Make sure it'll help more people find out of the greater agenda if you take this video and share it, or just take the links down below and share it so people can get a taste as to what's really going on beyond what we're being told. So here's an article that is relatively fresh, about a week old or so. It says the payment of the UAH or the Hivnia, so 6,500 Hivnia for those who lost their jobs due to the war, begin next week, referring to this week. So listen to this. Let's dive into this. We have the Prime Minister of Ukraine says that the payment of 6,500 for those who have lost their jobs due to the war will begin next week. And it talks about, I appeal to the Ukrainians. The war came as a shock to all of us. Many of us has lost jobs, homes, savings, but remain to defend Ukraine. It says today, the state will support you. When you say when the state will support you, think of universal basic allowance, universal basic income, the government stepping in, the primary reason for all the problems, but then they're also stepping in with their version of the solutions. And of course, none of that equals more freedom for you, but we'll keep moving. It says today, the state will support you. On behalf of the president of Ukraine, the updated, here's that word again, Pidgma, I'm going to butcher it, forgive me, program will start working next week as of this week. So this week is the first version of that the E currency, leave it at that. It says as part of the program, every employee, every private entrepreneur whose job was taken away by the war will be able to receive 6,500 e-Privnia. Okay, let's keep going. So let me just dive in further as to what that actually means. So the e-Privnia, the e-currency, leave it at that, equates to roughly today at about $200 or so in their in the equivalent of the Hivnia, which is the old brand of the currency. But this e-currency now, their version of a central bank digital currency, will be interconnected through the commercial banks. And what makes it unique and what we should pay attention to is that it's programmable in similar format and fashion as the CBDCs. And I'm going to explain to you the time restrictions, the locations people can spend it at, and all those other details. But this is what's happening in Ukraine as of this week. And I haven't heard about it nowhere else to this moment. But let's keep moving. I'm trying to get through as much as I can in a shorter time frame just because I don't want to be disconnected. But just more information out there. Here is more details on that e-currency or the rebranded version of their Hivnia currency here. And here's an article here. It says how to spend the e-money on the swim swim starts, whatever. So I think it's translated or whatever. But as you guys can see here, there's a card next to it. So it has a card feature that's included inside the Diia app. And so just to keep moving right along, it gives you 10 steps. And it's quite interesting, but this is what it is. But we can learn a lot from this. It says how to spend the money of the e-currency, 10 steps below. Here's the steps. Listen to this. This is the reason I bring us to your attention is because these steps here, they're all the preliminary rounds of the rollout of CBDCs in accordance to the fourth turning or the great fourth industrial revolution that the World Economic Forum was trying to pull off. And as I mentioned before, Ukraine is a test bed. Ukraine is a test bed for this rollout to see how effective it is, to work out any kinks, yada, yada, yada. And it's a way of conditioning the people because they're already in a very dire and destitute situation with war and all the other stuff that's happening in that country, whether it's, whether we're hearing a real story or not, but this is what, is being rolled out. So here's 10 steps. How to spend the e-currency. This is the new version of the currency inside of the Diia app. It says step 1. Get a special card is e-support in the application of the bank or the official offline branch. So your local commercial bank, you're going to get a card, bam. It says download the Diia application. That's the application with all the 50 government services in it. Third step, make sure you have a green certificate. You guys see that word there. I'll let you guys do the, what I'm saying? The part of the Diia rollout was the fact that people can have instant uploading of their health status inside of that Diia app. So as you guys can see, you can't get this new e-currency unless you have that Diia app downloaded too. And then the third one, you got to have your certificate for your health conditions. So very concerning, because what about the people who decide not to who decide not to participate in step 2 and step 3? They wouldn't be able to receive this rebranded version of currency. So once again, put pressure on more people to participate. It says go to the service section in the app. It says find an e-support. You may need to update the app. Okay. It says choose the e-support card. Step 7 says expect crediting money from the Ministry of Economy or your bank. So once you go through the process, you enter your information, and then you'll be airdropped some of that e-currency into your app from one of the commercial banks. It says log into the legendary swim website, whatever. So as you guys can see here, just some quick steps on helping people get plugged in to the new currency structure that's happening in Ukraine through the Diia app, which rolled out initially in February of 2020. And then the new branded currency, which was a couple weeks old, the e-currency, is officially out this week. So people who have to participate in order to get it. All right, keep moving. So here is an article that is excrucially detailed, or extremely detailed rather. So here it is. It says Ukraine is the first country to implement World Economic Forum's Great Reset. Great articles, real short, concise. I put it down in the link below. I encourage you to read it because it gives you all the nuts and bolts to what the rest of the world can expect, but I'll just summarize it. It says, what do you think of this transition to go to all digital, practical or worrying? Interesting question. Next thing here, I'll just go through some of the highlights here. It says, in a logical and digitizing central everything, the government launched in 2020 an application called Diia that includes, listen to all the different categories included: identity cards, passports, permits, your health records, health records, the V word, registrations, insurance, health reimbursements, social benefits, and more. It says a model that was known until now only in China with the famous social credit system. Move on down even more. It says Ukrainians can download the Diia app and store a whole bunch of official information as mentioned above, with the aim behind it to be able to easily carry out most of the administrative procedures that range from the payment of their taxes, to the renewal of identity documents, through the payment of their fines or the recovery of their social benefits. It says in all, nearly 50 services can be reached from the application, and 9 official documents that have the same value as their paper counterparts. 50 services, 50, and 9 official documents. So imagine a social security card and all the other things we do on this side of the planet in one app, that you more than likely, you'll only be able to engage those government entities through that app. That's very concerning, to say the least. And then here it goes down, more information, talks about what's happening currently. It looks like Poland might be doing the same thing, but I wanted to take a minute to bring this to your attention, just because I think this is crucial. We can learn a lot from this. To me, this is breaking news that won't be touched on mainstream news, because they can't touch on it, because this is a part of the Great Reset agenda. So everything happening in Ukraine now, of course, on the surface is a cover up, but yet under the surface, what's being developed as far as this digitization of Ukraine is very alarming, because it furthers the agenda, utilizing technology that was put out there to entice people to participate. We all know, also think about this, ever since the Super Bowl, with that Coinbase QR code commercial that caught the world by surprise, I have noticed unlimited amount of commercials now with QR codes in them, saying scan here for more information. I even see stuff on the internet where people say they go to their restaurants or whatever, and it's a QR code say, scan this for updates and for the mall times. And it's like, just put the damn time on the door. Why you got to put a QR code? So as you can see, we're further being conditioned here in the West. And the goal is, of course, to bring along the older generation, the baby boomer generation, because that's the generation where the most wealth still lies. So they're trying to attract them into the digitization process by getting them to use their smartphones or scan QR codes. So as you can see, the cell phone in of itself has been turned into a weapon against the people. And then what's happening in Ukraine right now is a great example of how, once again, that's just the first country that's officially gone full-blown reset. They resetted their entire government structure with an app called the Diia. So I want to take a quick minute to share this. Don't want to rant much longer. I want to acknowledge that super chat from Wealth Engineering. It says, never waste a good crisis, changing world order in full effect. 100%. And so this is what's happening, people. I wanted to just basically just share it because I think it's important. I encourage you to do your own research, do your own homework. All the articles I just touched on, I just skimmed through them. They can be found beneath this video here, so you can do a deeper dive. And do me a favor, if you're enjoying this type of short format, hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe, and then take this video, please, and share it on your social medias with your family and friends, just so people can see what's happening around the world, other than what they're being told from their mainstream news sources, which read teleprompters. Like I always say, if somebody reading off a teleprompter, you got to question who wrote it and why did they write it and what are they trying to accomplish with what they wrote. Yeah. Anyway, just some thoughts off the top of my head. Once again, I'm gonna try to do more of these. I got a couple more subjects I want to touch on. We'll see. But once again, appreciate your time. Thank you for being a blessing to the community. Definitely connect on all the social media platforms, Telegram, Discord down below. Do that so people can stay plugged in. Be blessed, be safe. See you guys later.